What's up guys, it's Blaze, and today we're showcasing the mods that I did to the 76130 Marvel Starkjet. So as you can see probably from the title, thumbnail, or watching the video, I have brought this set into the Star Wars theme. Now I know a lot of Marvel fans would probably consider that sacrilegious of some sort, but I'm a Lego guy and all of it's connected in one big universe in my head anyways. But yes, as you can see, I did not only use pieces from the Marvel's Starkjet. This was modified with pieces from the 2018 X-Wing. I believe it's 75218. And you'll see that I used a lot of those decal pieces to help blend it into the Star Wars universe. Like you'd see this kind of pattern and design on X-Wing wings. So I decided to bring that over here and blend in some red along the plates and such to help solidify it as a Rebel craft. Now I know we did call it a Republic craft, and I do think it fits better as a Republic vehicle. Like, Rebels do not have a vehicle that is this put together, this nice. Like, there's not a lot of greebling on the exterior of this vehicle is what I'm trying to say. A lot of Rebellion vehicles were very industrial and crude, and they were hobbled together, whereas this is very obviously a put-together ship for a very specific purpose. So for that reason, we're going to call it Republic. And most of the time with my reviews, I do the exterior first, and then we head inside. But because I'm actually having a little trouble, like I've done so many takes of trying to record this video, and I just keep messing up and not being happy with what I say, so we're going to actually switch it up, and we're going to hit the interior and then move to the outside details later. So on this set, there is actually technically two interior compartments. One is this big long fuselage going up to about right here, and then one is in this little back area, and I believe the set just wants you to use this as storage for the bombing feature that's in the bottom, but I decided to keep the Mysterio figure together in the set, but I didn't want to crease his cape. So very elegantly, I've bent him specifically over some of the bombs and using that blue flame that we used to have on the engine back there. And I haven't bent over in there because I wanted to keep track of the figure, but I didn't want to crease the cape and I didn't want to lose it or anything, and I didn't want to just overall lower the quality of my Mysterio figure because it's a great figure, but I haven't found a way to put him into my Star Wars Marvel Lego universe in my head yet. So for now, we just have him hunched over back there as a nice little storage area. And as you can see, even though that flame was sticking out on the inside, this does close all the way completely like studded connection. So now that we hit that little rear, we're going to head into this midsection here. And one thing I'd like to point out, I did this on my Razor Crest, I did it on my Dengar's Punishing One set. I always want to make my figures sit high enough that they can actually look out the windshield. And I think I accomplished that pretty well. If you look hard enough, you can see that Nick Fury is actually able to look out of the windshield. And it's not like most Lego sets where they're leaned all the way back and they're sitting halfway to the bottom of the ship. Now, of course, I don't expect Lego to do this for their sets because they are making play sets, whereas I am modding mine for a very specific purpose and look. So it's just something I always try and do. And overall, I think it improves the look of the set. When I'm flying it around, I can tell that my pilot can actually see what he's flying. But I wanted to get that one little exterior detail out of the way, and now I'll head inside. So we will, of course, start up at the front with Nick Fury and his big chair. So now that we have Nick Fury out of there, we can go ahead and get onto this main center cockpit area. And the dashboard has pretty much been kept the same from the standard set. It does have all the stickered panels sitting there, and then some trans blue tile pieces there. And it really helps fill it up and gives him a real dashboard like a real jet or airplane would have. And then also, because it's Nick Fury and because I had the pieces lying around, I wanted to give him a nice, real official seat. And it does bend and it does pose, but on the back it's just a nice angled command chair there. And as we progress further, you can see I do have weapons on either side of the command chair. One for Nick Fury and then one for Happy Hogan in the back, of course. And speaking of Happy Hogan, we are going to fold down this chair just a little bit and then we can get back there. So we do have a nice little walkway headed up to the cockpit area. Of course, a minifigure can't squeeze by there, but it overall just looks good for the aesthetic and the architecture of the ship. Then going down the sides, we have some cool lamps, some nice little details with these little antenna pieces here, and a fire extinguisher on the right side, because you never know, you might have some interiors fail, and you might have to pull out that fire extinguisher and take care of that fire yourself. So apart from that small detail there, we are going to head to where Happy's sitting, and we're going to get him out of there so you can get a better look at that control panel I placed there. So now that we've gotten Happy Hogan out of there, you can see that I'm using this little control panel area as a nice like monitoring station for Spiderman. You can see there's that one little printed brick or a sticker piece that has the Spider-Man information on it, and then I gave him a nice little control panel from the X-Wing. So with this kind of control station and him monitoring Spidey, it reminds me of the show Arrow. If you've seen Arrow, you know who Felicity is, and she is just the computer gal while Arrow is out in the field, and that's kind of what I think of this as. So he's kind of being his eyes in the sky, monitoring his situation and making sure everything goes okay for Spidey when he's out in the field there. And then sitting right next to him, we do have Spider-Man, and I wrapped his web around him because, while I like that little piece to give it a nice little webbing play feature, it's very annoying to try and keep in one place because it'll untangle and unravel. So I just wrapped it around Spider-Man himself, and overall it stays there, clipped it onto his hands, and it kind of fits. And then just behind Spider-Man, I do have one little handle piece there to simulate a backrest for a seat. So I did want to increase the interior space going past Spider-Man and maybe have a bed or a med bay back there or something, but the door feature just works too good, so I just wanted to design it up a little bit to make it not look like a door like hanging down. It's now the airlock to the ship. All Star Wars ships have their airlock, so a vehicle would mount on the bottom, and then you can see the nice little entrance hatch in the middle there. And yes, the door still does fly open. If you do want to retain your bombing feature, you could still totally load bombs in there. But other than that, that pretty much goes over our entire midsection for the interior, and now we're going to hit all of our exterior details. So moving down the midsection, I added these angled bricks on top because originally this was just left blank, and you can actually see through it, and it didn't look too bad, but it kind of messed up the blend of the white to clear and then back to white down the main fuselage there. So I added some angled bricks to help cover it up, and overall it just looks a bit more armored and looks better now. And then going down the middle, you can see I've just added more tiles to help smooth it out, help plate it up, and of course I wanted to give this more armor. Initially this set just started out as a jet, and it wasn't really much of a fighter craft, and because I was translating this into the Republic Star Wars military, I did have to armor it up and make it a little bit more beefy so it has some fighting capability. And moving past that main little tunnel we went through, we do have that opening door feature for on the bottom there. Still works just the same as the default set. So I guess we'll just head down the center like a tube, and then we'll hit the wings at the end. So then heading on to this backside, I did keep the Stark Industries stickers on there. One, because I didn't want to peel off stickers and then they don't stick as well afterwards. And two, I didn't want to risk any sticker residue staying on this piece. But you can see, like I did previously with that main center fuselage, I just armored it up, added a little bit more panels, plates. I added angled grill pieces to help simulate some vents and such. Get a little bit more greebling in there so it fits in the Star Wars theme a little bit more. And then heading down the back, you can see where I tore off those studs, the blue studs from the stud shooters, and switched it out to red so I could get some extra engines on the back. But the connection point for the wing, for these rear winglet wings are the same. It's just on that little hinge there. It's smoothed out nicely from the set, from the factory, with these bricks here, and then overall just added more tile, make a nice little angle design going around there. And you can see I did switch the angles, and originally on the Stark Jet, the studs were facing down this way. And I did flip that around because I wanted to tile it up, and overall, leaving it like this just doesn't look pleasant. And then now we can hit the wings. On the top half, they are symmetrical, but on the bottom half is where the differences lie. So for this top half, we'll just go over one side, and you can kind of see that one thing peeking through on the bottom there. But like I mentioned earlier, I did just move around some of the plates, scooted some things back. These nice little circle tile pieces, just move those around a little bit. But like I mentioned earlier, you can't see that I just moved around some of the plating from the set by default, added in a few things here or there to help blend with the interior design of like the blue studs there. And then going on the side, we do have, of course, the X-Wing pieces, some nice Republic red going in there. And then these little angled bits on the wings here haven't changed at all. Pretty standard from the set, and it looks really sleek. And then I did forget to mention when we were going over these winglets, I did add one large sloping piece right here to help smooth into the back section and help blend it overall a little bit more. So the wings are the same. Now going over to the bottom side is where we will see that one difference. So while it is overall symmetrical, I did want to add just the cannons on one side to help break it up a little bit and add some uniqueness in here. So you can see I tried to match the angle as best I could against the actual cannon bricks, and overall I didn't do too bad. I tried my best with the pieces I had. This is using some Technic pins put in upside down on these little, I think these might be called jumpers or headlight bricks, I'm not too sure. But then they sit angled on there, and there's just the tiniest small gap right there. So apart from that on the other side, that is actually the only thing that's asymmetrical. But other than that, there's not really much to showcase on the bottom here, other than in the center here, I did add this extra round plate here to help sell the whole airlock feature, that this would be a hatch on the bottom as well. Alrighty guys, well other than that, I do believe I've covered this entire thing. In my head, I was like, alright, I've tried shooting this video like 3 times. Let's try and make this one short and sweet. But as of right now, I'm sitting at about 18 minutes, so we're going to have to do some heavy editing here. But I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll notice I did pick up a night buzzard recently, and you might have thought that that would have been my next video, but I am actually upgrading my setup a little bit and expanding quite a bit, so I have a very specific idea and vision for my night buzzard video and how I want to approach the mods to that, so I'm waiting until my new setup and all the new pieces get here so I can build my new area. Other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy. Peace, fellas.